Hi, my name is Cameron Purdy. I'm a Vice President of Development at Oracle, working in Fusion Middleware. I work with our Coherence product, which is our data grid, which allows multiple servers to share live information across those servers. That's for things like caching, things like transactional data, and what we're going to be talking about today, which is session data. Session data for web applications is where the application keeps track of all sorts of information. Things like, is a user logged in? What does the user put in a shopping cart? It's temporary information. It's important information. It can't be lost, but it's temporary in that it's kept in memory for use by the application while the user is logged into it, for example, while the user is accessing the website. And then after a period of time, that information gets thrown away. So it's a temporary information that allows the web application to basically keep track of information on behalf of each individual customer who's using it. So there are a couple challenges related to web application performance, scalability, and availability. Specifically on performance, it's pretty obvious that applications should always be faster than they are. So making sure each page is served faster is extremely important to our customers. Being able to scale an application is also very important. In other words, if more and more people start using the application, how can you make sure that you can handle that additional load? And it also impacts performance, because if it doesn't scale well, then the other customers who are using the application at the same time, their performance will go down and down and down. So it's very important to be able to scale the application while maintaining high performance. And lastly, availability is very important. You shouldn't allow an application, if a server crashes or something goes wrong on one of the servers, it shouldn't have any impact on the end user of that application. And so what we're going to talk about today is how applications can add these three things very easily using our Coherence product. In other words, much faster performance with respect to session information, to be able to provide predictable scalability as more and more users are on the system, and finally to be able to maintain availability. So if a server dies or something like that, there's no impact on the application. All three of these things are very important. And it's important also to understand why a lot of applications don't have all of these benefits to start with. First of all, a lot of applications are set up in such a way that the information in the session, things like, is the user logged in, perhaps what's in their shopping cart. A lot of the times, that session information ends up getting stored in a database. And as a result, every time a web page is requested by that user, it has to retrieve the information for that particular user's session information, such as the things in their shopping cart or what they're currently doing, has to retrieve that back from the database, has to use it as part of the application, which may update that information, and then that information that's been updated has to go back into the database. And it's kind of like if you're trying to buy something and you have to go to the bank all the time. Every time you want to buy a drink or something, you run to the bank, get some money, and go buy the drink. Being able to have that information in memory as part of the application is kind of like carrying a wallet around. So you have money right in your back pocket, and you can buy what you need. So it's significantly faster. But it has another benefit as well, which is as you add more and more servers to handle more and more users on the system, those servers themselves are responsible for the session management. And this is what a data grid provides. The data grid technology allows that application running on each of those servers to work in concert with the other servers so that the information, the session information, for example, is available from any one of those servers. So regardless of how the application load balances users to different servers, their session information is always going to be available. And it's also going to be highly available, which means there will be multiple copies of it managed so that if one of the servers dies, no information gets lost. And that's how we provide high availability. It's important to note as well on the performance side that Coherence Web adds very little overhead compared to no clustering at all for session information. In other words, if you compare the performance of the application with no clustering, so no high availability for the session data, and then you put Coherence Web onto the application, there's almost no impact on performance. So it provides excellent scalability, it provides excellent high availability, and it also provides excellent performance because the information that's being used by the application is now in memory with the application. Coherence Web supports WebLogic Server. It also supports WebLogic Portal. And as part of our Fusion Middleware hot pluggable, support, we also support all the other major application servers with Coherence Web as well. And one of the great things about Coherence Web is this is something that can be added to an application without changing any code. So you can just drop Coherence Web in, and voila, you have sessions that are clustered for high availability, in memory for high performance, and very scalable. Coherence Web also provides support for very large sessions. What this means is if there's a lot of information that the application is managing in a session, Coherence Web can manage that very efficiently. And it can also manage it outside of the application server. So you can run a dedicated data grid just for managing the session information. And that's great when applications have grown to the point where the session information that they're managing is so large that it starts to impact the performance of the system. Coherence Web also allows applications to share sessions across multiple applications. This is handy for things like single sign-on or multiple applications that have to have access to the same shopping cart, for example, or other information being managed in the session. Lastly, I'd like to encourage you to take advantage of a new program that we have called the Web App Health Check. The Web App Health Check, you can ask your salesperson about it. The Web App Health Check is a program we put in place to come in, take a look at a web application and see if we can help with the performance, identify common performance problems, and show you how to use Coherence Web to take advantage of it. For more information, ask your sales representative about our Web App Health Check program. This is a program where we can come in, take a look at your web application, and see if Coherence Web could help provide high availability, predictable scalability, and high performance. Thanks for joining us.